Alright guys, we're starting our morning session here with a short. The market right at the open was short with a 200 NT Rinko and 100 NT Rinko. That gave us a sell signal, and we got in with one contract in an aggressive trade, and once the market hit Globex and concluded one candle, we ended up getting short for $536, and the market continued to push lower and lower, and we started to look for an additional short, and however the market flipped and gave us an opportunity to go long, and it was a significant reversal, and we were looking for a swing trade that's going to take us to the 150, 160, 180, and we were willing to take a stop all the way to 12,013. It's a wider stop, but the trade is an actual uh, swing trade, not a scalp trade, and so we were prepared for adding within that trade, adding within that range, and continuing to look for rallies to start stabilizing and start to push toward Globex, and Globex was 137 at that time, and the market was showing it was solid, and tested the VWAP, which is the middle of the range here, and we felt that it should hold, and we were ready to take that risk, and we were ready to take that stop if the market gets us there. But fortunately, the market got close but didn't stop us, and we produced a captain setup long, which is a very solid buy signal. We ended up in 15 contracts, and that trade ran up and ended up actually eventually the market really got to some of the targets, the big targets that we had, but we were taking on so much risk. I felt like I need to take a profit and just come back and revisit the market. Right here, the market 200 and 100 were in sync, and we took the short right at the inception of that trade and took target number one. And I was still looking to work on a bigger trade if the market is gonna produce it, considering there was a bit of a failure on the 200 NT Rinko and the market does get disconnected. So I did two contracts at the signal, took one at target number one, kept one and added to it, and then took those two out. So I'm constantly adding to a profitable trade, then covering in order to keep building. Uh, and we ended up making $384 on that trade. That last batch, the market reversed, and I decided to take a pause from it. And the 100 NT Rinko turned a buy signal, and it gave us a captain setup long, and we decided that okay, we need to start going long here. We ended up getting long. I added to that trade, but I got too heavy too early, and I got out for a stop, and that was on 10 contract, $1,500. So I was like, all right, well, we still have a captain setup. We still have an actual signal long. Let's try it again. And once the market did that, we went long four. A bit of a patience on the prior trade would have really did us really well, but we have to take our stops. We took one, and this actually ended up being the biggest trade of the day. And the market reversed here. The market is disconnected between the 200 and the 100, but we have signals on the 50 NT and the 100 NT Rinko telling us to go long, and we started to add in this trade, or attempting to add, but we did not really truly get a decent pullback to take advantage of this momentum on the upside. Ultimately, we wanted to see 140 and 152, and then we needed to see 60s and 80s, 160 and 180. And we're starting to look for aggressive entries and adds on the long side. And here we ended up taking a little bit of profit. We had one contract, and added to it, and we were looking for a push, and I needed to add some more, so now I'm in 3. And once the market started to run into Globex, I took 2 off just in case they fade it here, and we had one more contract to go. And as the market rallied past Globex, I got out, which was perfect because that's when the market turned around, and 2116 was the on 6 contracts, which is really good. We held on fairly well on that trade, so we're about 4 grand for the day. And we have a couple more trades here. A scalp for $81 right after inception of a new transitional zone in an environment that's long. So we took that and moved on. And here we were waiting on the market to kind of get back in sync. We had a 50 NT Rinko Captain setup switch trade, and that was the catalyst for that trade. And we took that one into target number 1, looking for target number 2. We took 2 contracts off, the third one right here, and we're waiting on the market to kind of rally back up into Globex. And here again, you know, I'm up decent for the day, and also I built up money within that specific trade. So in my head, I'm like, I will give this the full rainbow of possibilities for it to work out for that 60 and 80, which means I should be willing for the trade to come all the way down and stop me for break even, for the potential of hitting 60s and 80s. And that's how you truly sit through some of the noise in the market into a bigger 100, 200 point moves, is the capacity to get into a trade, scalp some of it to pay for the trade, then leave 1 or 2 contracts or more for a big run that ends up being $100 or $200 dollar run. So it's 511. 511 is what we're looking at right here. And into the last trade of the day, and here the market is in sync on the long side. I took that trade, and I was willing to add to it if it comes down to 121. And this is basically the market is in sync. You got a 200 NT Rinko, 100 NT Rinko harmony between both of them, and we were looking for a run up, and that trade actually ended up being $472, and that ends up our day. We ended up the day at 51.70. Done.